chicken. They call it Irouleguy. Irouleguy? Irouleguy. We need how much wine? 2 cups of a dry red wine. And we're going to put it in a saucepan. I mean, this is different from anything I've made as a roast chicken, so. Sandra. Oh, yes, I did. Oh, God. You're going to put it in a saucepan. I know most of the time when you make chicken, you think white wine or rosé, but this one is going to like a Merlot, a dark, dry one. Now you need 2/3 of a cup of shallots. These are beautiful little onions, but what's different about this onion is it's a mixture of garlic and onion. This is why it's asking for this. So you're not going to just have that onion flavor. You're also going to have that garlic flavor mingled with it. All right. Now they want us to chop up 2/3 of a cup of this. And that's where I'm going to start going through it. They also want you to get a 5 to 6 pound chicken roaster. And there is a difference with different birds that you use. Now, for the older women, hi, Debo, and good morning. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Okay, that's 1/3 of a cup. We need another 1/3. And put it into the wine. That's exactly where they want us to put it, in a saucepan. They say a small saucepan too. Let me see, how do I want to cut this? We are making a roast chicken called Irouleguy. Irouleguy. Irouleguy, I think is how you say it. Irouleguy. This is going to be something I'm going to be working all day today on. We have to do potatoes. We're going to do, I think, collard greens with it today. Okay, let's see if we've got enough here. I think I do. Look, you're not going to break up. I'm not going to use you. All right. Now you've got 2/3 of a cup of shallots into 2 cups of wine. What you're going to do with this is put it over medium heat until the liquid evaporates completely. Now that's going to take about 35 minutes. Hi, Red. Yeah, it's a roast chicken, but it's done so different. So right now, let me put this on a medium heat. What you're actually going to do is you are going to cook wine into those shallots. It is a roast chicken, but it's just how it's done because we're using red wine, which we never use red wine when we're cooking chicken. Everybody knows you use a white or a rosé. But this time, we're doing it different. Let me put this over here. So that's going to take about 30-35 minutes. All right. Right now, they're going to find this very interesting when you get done making this. All right, you're going to take 12 tablespoons of butter. You want it sort of room temperature and put it in a bowl. And we're going to put it to the side, believe it or not. You're saying, what are we going to do with it? Wait till you see what we do with it. So we're going to actually make wine shallots. Okay. I told you, this is going to be different from stuff that we've done before. And we're going to be adding salt and pepper into this butter. So we want a teaspoon of kosher salt. They're specific about this. And they want, oh shoot. Yeah, I get stupid sometimes. How much pepper do you want? All right, and they want freshly ground white pepper. They say a little bit. Oh, I like his music, Nate. Hi, Jessica. Wolf. Good morning. What am I making, Wolf? I am making a roast chicken. Oh, take the cap off, Sandra. You're not going to get anything. I want you to put some black pepper in here. They don't tell you how much. This is more judging on your own. Good morning, General. All right, I guess that's enough for now. We'll get this chicken going. This might have to be in more than one video because this chicken's really going to have to cook. We also have to get potatoes ready for it as well. And Sandra, if you don't plug this in, you're going to get disconnected. Pal, good morning. Let's see, what do they want us to do next? All right. Put that to the side. We'll get to that in a minute. We have to get the chicken going now. Remember, you need a 5 to 6 pound bird here. So we're talking a good sized roast. I told them I wanted a 5 pound bird. Bitches know I love to eat, I guess. So what they do, they send me almost to 7. It's 6.5. I said, okay. I'll use it. It'll take a little longer than I want, but, you know, I'll make it work, as usual. Did you know that when Purdue was in the service, he told everybody, all his comrades in the service, that he was going to have a chicken farm? They used to laugh at him. Guess what? He did it. He made it. People used to say he looked like a chicken too. Yeah, that's, Wolf, you're right. It's very big. Okay, Red, we'll see you in a bit. Ness, good morning. Hi, Paul, good morning. So this is a big one. But they're specific about what they want this time. Normally, I can pretty much play around. Okay. This is a very, very dirty bird. Make sure you clean that cavity out of lungs and kidneys and stuff. Believe you me, I've eaten at Kentucky Fried Chicken, and the chicken was not clean all the way. One part people forget is the kidney area. And I'll show you what I'm talking about for those of you that do not know, because there are people that don't know. I noticed the birds are not as clean as they used to be. Before there was a pride, but it's not. Okay, this is for people who don't know this. Good morning, Paul. Drive by. Nisha, Wolf. All right, here we go. All right, in this inside right here, I don't even know if you can see it. You know, I can turn you down as far as I can, but it doesn't always work. Okay, right in here, when you get down here, you'll see a lot of gunk. It's like an let's see, it's like two lakes on either side. That's a good way of describing it for people. But what you do is you run in here and you pull it out, and you'll see gunk coming out here. It's on either side of the spine. That's where the kidneys sit. But you also have to look down into this bird, because sometimes they leave the lungs in there and the heart, you know. So you want to make sure you get all of that out. And then I need to get a paring knife next. I've got feathers to pull. We didn't always see this either, unless it was a real, unless we did it ourselves. But they're not clearing all of this out. And you've got to finish pulling them. I don't know why they don't clean them as well as they used to. But when you have third world doing work, because businesses want to go cheap, this is what we get. The chicken prices go up, but the chickens are filthier. I would not know what to do if my father didn't show me this, because he went hunting for wild turkeys. By the way, for you people who do not hunt, I'm going to tell you something. Turkeys fly at least 50 feet. My father had his eye on one that he was going to kill, and that bird got whiffed of him and took off flying. My father shot into the sky. He came home. I said, I did not know turkeys flew. Now, the domesticated ones have a lot of white meat turkeys. But if you can get a wild game one, if you have a husband who's a hunter, they have dark meat, and it's more flavorful than the white meat that dries out. Don't ask me why. And the domesticated turkeys are so stupid, they'll sit on a candle to get warm, put themselves on fire. So, you think people are stupid? Animals have their stupid days just as much as the rest of us. This bird was filthy. Sometimes you'll find the stubs also on the breast. Come on out, or I'll cut you off. I learned about boiling water after you pull the feathers off. You hang that bird upside down and you pull the feathers in the opposite direction. That's what I was taught. I don't know if they've changed that procedure, but you then come out the matches and burn the stubs and pull them off. So we did that one Thanksgiving that I remember clearly. You also have to check the wings. The wings are easier because they usually have very large feathers. It in a minute before I make a bigger mess. You'd almost say this is like having a baby turkey. Where did they grab you from? A seeker? What are you talking about? Some of this I don't understand. Hi, Kim. Your name is Sunshine? Or Mr. Cool? All right, we're reducing that wine for medium heat. I have to find a pan to put that in. Tie it up, I might get it in a small one. Okay? Depends on what they want us to do. Okay, well, we're not there yet. All right, we have to make croutons. So I'm going to have to set my oven to 400. See, I won't buy the croutons that I get in the store because I don't like them. They can do whatever they want, but I'm not going to go with it. All right, how many croutons do you want? Half a loaf. I've already cut into this one. Now this is my Ezekiel bread that I'm going to be using for croutons. So I'm going to be getting a different flavor. I'm not using a white bread. All right, they want in 1-inch cubes. Okay. Let's see. I better do one more. Now we're going to reduce the wine completely down, and then we'll just have scallions in there. Be careful that you don't burn them. That's what we have to be careful with. 1 inch. Okay. So you don't always have to buy everything unless you just want to get out of the house in a hurry, you know. Or you just hate cooking. Which I can see a lot of women seem to dislike. Okay. My family eats all the food I cook. And sometimes if it's exceptional, I will share it with my neighbor. You think this is a lot of food? It's not a lot of food though I cook. It just seems like it. Especially if you hate the kitchen, you say that's a lot of time in the kitchen. But when I see my family with all the mistakes I've made, I think I've done pretty good. I've learned not to trust dietitians. I've learned not to really trust doctors too much. They have to earn my trust after what I've been through. Oh, these are going to be a lot. I didn't think I'm going to get them in there. Well, we'll find out. If they dry up, I'll just hold them and use them for another day. They want about an inch. Well, they're talking actually, if you must know, 1 inch. So they want big croutons. See? Huge. Not the dinky little ones that you get in the store. Now, I'm not putting anything on these. I'm just going to let these dry out. They'll have enough flavor on their own. I don't have to worry about them. Now we're reducing this wine over here. And we have salt and pepper. And we have the butter to the side. So we have that going, we have that going, we have that going. Okay, what else? Okay, back over here. Sorry about that. All right, without tearing this chicken or ripping the skin off, we want to get underneath this chicken skin, okay? So you pick that skin up and you tear it and you get your hands in here. And as you can see, you can get pretty far into the skin. And if you're really good at it, you should be able to get into the legs as well. At least to the upper part of the leg. Okay? This is where we're going to be putting the butter with the shallot and wine mixture. Okay, so that skin is separated very nice. Down the center, you probably won't get it because it might tear the skin because it's thicker there, but you can go on either side and go all the way practically to the neck. See? So you can go pretty far in the Denise, no. Elephant, you cook? Okay. I have 2 brothers. My parents, family of 5. Well, my grandparents had, their family had like 15, 17 children from my grandparents. Good morning, Co. Hope you have a good day in spite of your nastiness. The problem is you're so young, you're so stupid. I remember they used to say we were stupid. I told them a lot, I said, because all you people around me, all what they did was take drugs, you know? But I didn't. I tried marijuana, I tried drinking, but I found neither one of them acceptable. And the people I grew up with, I'm now finding, and what floors me is how bad they look. I don't know what I'm going to do with the gizzards. I don't know if I'm going to give them to the cats or not. Okay, we're sort of at a standstill right now with everything. We have to wait for the wine to cook down. Isn't it? Oh, this is a good liver. Good size liver and heart. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Shade, you're right. They don't have any. No, Allah is not the way. Okay? Let's be honest about it. Because I need them for the recipe, Denise. Okay. The wine is getting thick now with the onions. Well, I should say the shallots in them. I'll show you. We'll get over here. Oh, where do you live on the East Coast? Oh, we have the Middle Easterns there. They're trying to push their religion. It's not going to work. No, Taffy. We're just coming down to the end of this part here. Yeah, that's one of my kitties. The other one's sleeping upstairs. He's had a sick tummy recently with fur balls. And I don't buy my croutons in the store. I make them with my bread because my bread is homemade. Oh, Big, you're in New York? Okay. What borough, can I ask? God, I didn't expect it to cook up like this, but this is interesting. What we're going to do is we're going to mix the butter with this. I walked clean across town to get into school, idiot. I live on Anderson Street. I had to go through South Tyler to North Tyler to get to school. The only one that was close. Hi, Shade. They want me to mix this. Oh, dear God, my hands are going to be hot. What, walking to school? Put one foot in front of the other and make sure you get there on time. And don't be hit by the trucks, the 18-wheelers coming through town, because to get to North Tyler, you had to cross a highway. I remember when Barnum and Bailey came through in town because they got lost. So we ended up with 3 days of the circus in town, and they lost a python. It was a block and a half from my home. Well, my parents' home. We had to stay inside till they found the panther. They found the panther because he ate a Shetland pony, and he was so full he couldn't move. They found him curled up. And he ate an expensive Shetland pony. And it was one of my friend's ponies. And he was crying because it was his favorite. Yeah, I remember that too. Oh, we got Jews and we've got Arabs. Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. But I really don't care. You guys are going to fight, and yet you two were brothers. And you don't like hearing that either, but I think it goes back to Joseph when he was sold into slavery. Okay, we're just about there. In a couple of minutes, I think that'll be or less. Gee, we just had our lovely, the Lord is risen. They come marching in. I think they should stay in their own country. Okay, now that we've done this, oh shit, I'll be right back. One of my cats is upstairs. Where, Taffy? I don't want to sit on it. What did you do? Gonna upchuck some more? Taffy? I know, it's hard on you. You okay? You okay, buddy? Anyway, you got your bearings. Now let's see what you did. Okay, Taffy? 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 You okay now, buddy? It was only a fur ball, don't worry about it. Okay. Oh, Grim, good morning. Dodge, good morning. Marcy, good morning. Denise. right, so you're going to take these shallots that you've cooked all the wine into. You're going to mix them with this butter. Yeah, it's hot enough to melt the butter. That's why they would want us to stick it in the refrigerator. Maybe I should have just grated it. But this is what they want. Good morning, Dodge. We seem to have two brothers fighting, the Jewish and the Arabs, right now on the channel. This channel is not the place to do it, but they don't listen to me. I told them it's a cooking channel. Go to a boxing ring and take it out on each other, you know? You hate each other that much. But if you hate somebody, then, or anybody sits there and talks about violence, then I would question them. You know, Jesus talked about loving your neighbor and everything else. Oh, I could do my hands with this. They want you to mix this thoroughly. So I'm going to do it with my hands. See, people go to the store and they go shopping, but they don't read what's in stuff. And I think it all starts with not respecting one another, men and women. The men that respect their wives and their wives respect them, they have a good marriage. Oh, I'm making the croutons. We're going to put this in the refrigerator as soon as I get a little more mixed together. This is two shallots, red wine. The red wine and shallots were reduced until all the wine was gone. You cooked it into the shallots, and then this is 12 sticks of butter. And they want you to mix it with salt and white pepper. It's not ungodly, Gio. Thank you, Valentina. Good morning, Dodge and Valentina. Hey, Big, how are you doing? They have a garlic and onion mixture flavor together. That's actually the flavor that they are. I mean, some things that were in recipes before aren't as popular today as they were. This is where things change. But they claim that the shallot actually belongs to the onion family, but it does have onion and garlic flavor, so I think it's just a mixture of the two. And most of the time, most recipes call for onion and garlic, you know. So you can use a shallot sometimes in place of it. Now, this has to go in the refrigerator. I'm a bit hungry this morning. Now we're making these croutons. I'm just going to toast them up. That's all I'm doing. I could put oil and seasonings on them, but that's not what I want. I just want them plain because this bread already has good flavor, so why would I not add it? I think it's something I want to eat. I guess I'll have a muffin. That should hold me. My son and I were experimenting with muffins yesterday with dried cherries, and we put almonds, I think, with it. Yeah. We're thinking about putting, and we used nutmeg, and we're thinking about putting a liquor in the next time we make this. Okay. Enjoy. Good morning, Marcy. They are. I wonder if I could take the this chicken gizzards, boil them down, and make mincemeat pie. Well, little pies, too much. I've never seen a garlic size. Man, mine have always been large. I'm only eating because I'm hungry. I am really hungry this morning. Quick protein. Everything I need. These muffins with the cherries, dried cherries, definitely need some liquor. Yes, it is, pretty cat. No, I can't help you. I'm cooking. Oh, get out of here, you little sucker. Go over there and take care of business, Staffy. That mouse came back. Go over there. He's eating your food. There. Now you can't eat. You don't want to eat. Hi, Aspa. This one's called Taffy. The other one's called Amber. Good morning, Judy. How are you? I am so hungry. I can't believe how hungry I am this morning. Colburn, what do you want? Where is my bread? Shut up, Taffy. I'm thinking. I lost my twine, but I need twine. Where did I put my twine? It's supposed to be over here. Oh, here it is, way over here. Oh, God. Hi, Aspa. Thank you. Good morning, Liberty. They're just grumpy old men. They could be young and be grumpy old men too, you know. So what can you say, Marcel? Marcy? Ready for the croutons? We're going to put this together. I'm from a country that loves freedom. You know what got me was, I didn't remember this. Thank God somebody reminded me. When my country became a country, in less than a couple of years, we found ourselves at war with the Arabs because they were taking our men and enslaving them and killing them. That was the first war with the Arabs. Isn't that amazing? And now they're starting trouble in my country. Hi, Denise. How are you? Hi, Isaiah. Yes, Marcia. Marcy. Zephyr. We love our freedom too much. I love taking responsibility. When I was little, I didn't, because when I took responsibility, it meant I was going to be whipped. But as an adult, I love my freedoms. Yeah. I couldn't remember it all. Listen, I have so much piled up here in my head. If I ever wrote a book on everything, my brain decided from the time I was born to now write a book, that book would probably be, it'd be a long book from everything I've learned. Sometimes I might get, I'm sorry I'm eating, I'm just really, really hungry. I'm from America. Thank you, Saks. That used to be my favorite store, Saks Fifth Avenue. I heard about it when I was a little girl in Texas. And another one that I heard from everybody, now we're talking about like 100 miles from Mexico, and we're going back in the 60s, early 60s. I was a little girl. Kaufman furs. Oh, every woman talked about Kaufman. It never got cold enough to have a Kaufman fur, but everybody in Texas knew, every female knew about Kaufman furs. Yeah, Saks has gone down with their quality and stuff. But another store that has caught my attention that I cannot afford, I have to pay my bills, is Nordstrom. Oh my God. I went in there. My son said, try Nordstrom. Okay. We were walking through it. Before I got off the first floor, I had already spent over $1,000, and I said, thank God I'm not pulling my credit cards out or spending money, but just seeing what I wanted was there. And the quality, it wasn't top-notch, what I would call, because I consider something homemade more top-notch, but it's really good quality there. Yeah, Marcy, it was known, it was a big thing. Oh, the muffins are loaded with protein, the way I make them. So having that is like, you know, having eggs and everything else. I'm going to make these again, and I'm going to make them with liquor. Yeah, I've moved into the liquor department with it. I can cook with it. And the other thing I don't see in liquor stores, or liqueurs. I don't even know if you can find them anymore. Okay, what temperature do you want this oven on? All right, reset your temperature at 450. I want to eat when I had work. Oh, I was looking at that. I don't want to eat. All right, they want you to take half of this butter. You can see it's frozen now. Oh, okay, Big. I can tell you one thing. It wasn't the same muffin because I have not repeated myself yet. When I grew up, muffins were basic blueberry, banana nut, bran. So you didn't get a lot of anything. I decided I was going to be creative. So in this house, most people have a roll or a piece of toast or something. Me, you can only put so much on a piece of toast. And a roll, butter or cream cheese and whatever. But I said, if you can make muffins nutritious, you can really help your family a lot. So we're packing half of this into this bird. Yeah. Yeah, they are. But I think I want to put some liquor in these to make them better. Yeah, they've lost it. They've lost quality control on a lot of things. Like I see, and this is a shame, I've seen when I go shopping, my shopping cart is full of vegetables, meat, and stuff, but canned goods you don't see often. Though that last dish I had to make yesterday with my son definitely forced me to use a can. But I try to avoid unless I'm canning. And the women, when they get behind me, they're fine, but they have their husbands, and their husbands look, and he can tell that I'm cooking. Man, she shoots him a look like murder. I'm not doing that for you, and that's exactly what she's telling him. And all he sees in his cart is instant food, frozen food. So I'm sure he's pretty upset. But the muffins still start for breakfast. My son makes them in the afternoon. Snack on them while we're working. It's something quick, and when you make them nutritious, they're a whole meal. You know, they really are. I don't know how you expect me to get them in that bird. All right, now you can take the other half of this, put it in here and mix it with these breadcrumbs. I don't want to get purple. Yeah, they got rid of it if they can. Like there's a worm that eats plastic up and styrofoam, which we have. And you know who eats the worms? Birds. So they asked, and this was very late at night. Some of this news I get, you don't get on regular news. You have to be up at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I know, we're mixing croutons with that. And these worms are about this big. But you know how we eat food? They eat plastic and styrofoam. So they went to Congress to get, a patent, or could they get it to help to get rid of the pollution that we have with plastics and stuff. You know what Congress said? No. Like Congress really cares. And the birds eat these worms. They live off these worms. And these little worms, and you know where they found them? Actually in beehives. They eat the wax. So they found styrofoam and plastic. So that's a good thing, don't you think? I mean, I would think it was. And Congress denied it. So if there was a way of getting that done, we could clean up our landfills and we wouldn't have so much landfill. Well, they said croutons and they're hard. So you're going to coat them with that onion and butter and wine mixture. You're going to stuff the bird with it. The other half we stuck under the skin, as you can see. You think all these are going to get in here? Mm-mm. Well, I guess if I crunch them all up. But you said you wanted big pieces. It's not all going to go in here, I can tell you that right now. If you want me to dance them around them, I could do that. No, Taffy, get down. Get down. No, I don't want to hear it. You don't want to eat. You won't eat the mouse. And I'm not calling somebody in to kill him. That's your job. Go get your brother. He's a better hunter. I don't know what they want me to do with the rest of them. I don't know how I'm going to get them in here. Force it. Yeah, we should be. Yeah, I heard about it years ago, and Congress denied it. And I want to say, you don't care. That's probably why we can't find the Atlanteans. Their trash and stuff. They probably, they would know because they had just fallen, so they wouldn't have the knowledge of the time so they would have had things going then. Okay. Listen, all of this is not fitting in here. I'll just have to lay it next to my bird here. All right, they want us to tie the legs up, tie the wings up, tie the whole thing up. Okay? Okay. Well, there's no more room, so that's all I've got right now. Let's see, I'm not real good at this. Never have been. I always called my husband in to tie a bird up. But he's gone. So you have to make do. It's not as tight as his, but hey, it's me. I know you're better at it than I am, but that's okay. You want me to tie the wings down? Why? Tightly to the body. No, I just used all of that. I don't have any more. No. No, Taffy. No. 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 As you can see. Why do I have to tie the wings down? They're going to sit there and pop up. We've never done it before. Now they told me to put half of the butter in there with the wine mixture and put half under the skin, and now they want me to put another half. You only told me half. Half and half is one. So I did what you wanted. Okay. I don't know why. Okay. Well, if you want it tied, I'll tie it. Okay, Sandra. Okay, now this bird should stay together. I don't think it's going anywhere. There's no more butter to put on this. None. Except this little bit that I have, and that's it. You're not going to get any more out of me. Well, if you want. We'll have to take from the croutons. See, this is when people don't know their math. And that's very, very frustrating. First they say put half in the croutons, then put half under the skin, and then put a half and rub it down. I'm taking from my croutons. They should have said a third and a third and a third, and then that would work quite nice. Then we would have everything that we need. But they didn't. So. I have to get a pan out. It's not going to fit in when I want to put it in, so I'm going to have to. The croutons are still left over, but I'm going to throw them in and let them toast. Get those out. They don't tell you to grease the pan, but I was taught from young, go to a hunting camp and you don't grease anything you find, you can't get anything clean. So this is something that you do so your pan comes cleaner faster, and you don't have to clean and work as hard to get it clean. This is an old trick my grandmother taught me. So if you're roasting, I know the older women know this. The younger women will use a spray. But we used to use whatever fat we could find, be it goose, duck, pork, veal, lamb, beef. We'll grease it or oil. I'm not wasting these. This is going to cook for a long time, so while it's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and get the potatoes going. Do you want it covered, or are we good? Okay, we're going to roast this for exactly 20 minutes. All right, 20 minutes bring us to 53. All right, we need more. All right, we got 20 minutes, and then we have to do something. No, they call it roast bird. I'll give you the other name, which I don't think I'm pronouncing correctly, but that's okay. They call it a roasted chicken, and the word they're using, Irouleguy, Irouleguy. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'll be honest with you. I think this comes from the Basque region. I'm not sure. That might be where this chicken recipe comes from. I'm finishing my muffin. Okay. So we make giblet gravy. You use the meats and the heart and the liver, right? And the neck. So I have some mincemeat and our chutney. So I figured, why not make little pies with it? Because mincemeat used to have these in them. This is how they prepared them. And they wouldn't waste the liver and the heart and stuff from the meat. They had to use all the meat. You say, ooh, I won't eat tongue, I won't eat this. In frontier life, they ate everything. today everybody is picking, but I'm going to cook those down. And you can't taste them once they're minced up or chopped very finely and then put with sweet things. So our founding fathers and stuff were much healthier than what we are today. You might say, well, they didn't live very long. They lived a hard life. They made everything. So, you could see it. So I've introduced pig's feet to my family. I have introduced them to different cultures. That's because my husband introduced me to different cultures. And so we all learned. My husband started this chain, I could really say, of all these cultures I learned. No, not really. They are somewhat really. Yeah, you could say there's a mixture. I would almost call them the same because I've used them interchangeably. But chutney, they serve along a hot curry to give the sweetness. No, you're not hungry. Whereas the mincemeat has meat already in it, which is really the organ meat. Today they put the flavor of beef in it instead of doing it. So I introduced them to heart. Heart is so mild in flavor, believe it or not, and chicken gizzards are very mild in flavor if you cook them right. If you don't cook them right, they're tough and chewy. But what's funny is gizzards are very strong in flavor raw, but when you cook them, they go mild. Now, liver has a very strong one, you know, but when you cook it, these organs have, when you cook these organ meat, they almost become bland, which I like. So when I tried veal heart, and thank God they have it in the store, because I had a recipe I wanted to do, I was shocked at how mild it was. I said, I'm just going to fry this up, just coat them, flour them, salt and pepper, because I want to get the full flavor to understand what it is. Taffy, no. You tear that and you and I are going to be in trouble. You hear me, young man? Ah, my cat. So, I wanted to buy tongue, but my son was going, Mommy, I think I'm going to vomit seeing that tongue there. I said, they're really quite good. And he said, no. But that's how I perceive getting them to eat this food. So I'm going to be making a dish. It's going to be a spaghetti sauce with bacon. And I'm going to take the tongue and cut it up in strips after I trim it and all. I'll show you how to do it. And I'm going to make that and serve it. And I know it's going to be delicious because it's mild. It won't have that, you think it'd be a bloody taste or something, but it's not. What really surprises me just how mild it is. Now, I know on the tongue you can make a lovely salad with it on a hot day, and it's really good. I don't know if they're going to have it at that time. Yeah, I've done the lemon and garlic, Polly, too. And good morning. It's very good, Marcy. Hi, Seasons. I never had the gizzards in stew. So when you look about chutney or mincemeat, they're pretty much on the same vein. They really are. Just change different seasonings. But if I have mincemeat, I really want to take these gizzards. I'll tear the meat off the neck. I'll dice up the liver and the heart and the gizzard up real fine, and I'll mix it. And then I'm going to make these little pies. I think I want to use the one for baking. But if I have to use the one for frying, I'll fry them. And then I'll make frosting to go over it. Or just sprinkle it on. And that'll be a snack. And they won't know they'll be getting a lot of healthy things in it. Good morning, Stephen Sosa. So these are things that I do. The thing is don't be afraid to try. I would hope that all of you are learning that. You know, don't be afraid to get and try something, because sometimes some of the best, I don't like mussels normally because people don't cook them right. But I saw it in the restaurant. I said, well, I'll give them a try. They were so good. Oh my God. That's all you needed. They were perfect. They weren't tough and they weren't undercooked where they were raw. They were just at the point of doneness. I had to send my compliments to the chef. I said, you tell the chef, whoever made this, he got perfection down to an art. That was really just that good. I could taste all the flavors coming, and the meat was tender. Yeah, that always happens. Spilling over, clearing. Hi, Roland. Hi, Stephen. So they send it, and when the chefs get those kind of compliments, believe you me, they are overwhelmed that somebody would do that. Oh, somebody gave me 5 gems. Thank you, whoever did it. I must have been busy taking care of that chicken. Now, I'm going to get these dishes done. We have a few minutes. We got 11 more minutes. So while I'm doing that, I'll get my dishes done. At least most of them done. So you don't have to waste the gizzards or anything. You can use them. When I make chicken gumbo, I cook those gizzards right in there. They're so cooked, you don't have to worry about them for flavor at all. Good morning, Cat. T-A-T. Now, for the older ladies, I've been using a lipstick for a week. They said that, I might as well talk about it because you need to know. Listen, when you get older and you start wearing foundations and stuff, as you get older and older, you notice it gets into your lines because you get the crow feet, they call here, and whistle marks around your mouth here. All right, so when you wear lipstick, especially a cheap lipstick, oh, I've never had it there. Thank you for the silver star, Marcy. They just said it. And so when you wear cheap lipsticks, I have to call it cheap. When you wear cheap lipsticks, they're going to bleed into those cracks. All right, I can vouch for it. I know it. All right, when you buy the more expensive lipsticks, I mean, you're paying a pretty penny for your lipsticks. Estee Lauder is a good one. Unless it's a very, very dark red, it will bleed into your lines around your mouth. They call them whistle marks. Now, there is one called Colle, C-O-E-L-L-E. Now, this is a clear lipstick. Now, this reminds me from the late 60s, early 70s. They came out with clear lipstick, and you rubbed it on your lips, and according to your pH, it would either be orange or it would either be a red or pink or whatever color it would come out. And but it would come off after a time frame. But Colle, C-O-E-L-L-E, this new one I tried, the lipstick stays on all day. I'm not going to say 24 hours, it doesn't. By the end of the day, it's pretty much gone. But if you're going out on a date and you put it on, you don't have to worry about it smudging or having put lipstick on, running to the bathroom after you've eaten or anything else. It's not on the cups or anything else. So you don't have to worry about that. All right, so it will not bleed, which is a good thing. So if you get to the point where all your lipsticks are bleeding, this is a good one to use. Now, it's going to take your own pH, whatever it is, and they're going to do it. Because I know women, as you get older, you lose color. You seem more pale. You don't have the vibrant colors that you're accustomed to seeing to a young person. Unless you're really laughing or something, then the color flows up. And you notice your lips get paler as you go along. So this will give color. Another one is lipstick that you can use that you do have to put it on during the day is Boom. it does not bleed either, and it's a good makeup. I tried it for 3 or 4 months, and it works very well as well. So I've given you 3 lipsticks that I would agree. Boom, I would agree with Collet, and I would agree with Estee Lauder. But if you are older and you want to continue using red, go to a lighter red. Don't go to a darker red once you get those whistle marks, because they will bleed in time into them. Okay? Hi, Marcy. Boo. So, letting you know. Hi, Cream Cheese. Hi. Marcy, hi. Yeah, boom. You've heard, I'm sure you've heard about it. So for the older women, that's really good. I used it to see how it would work. It does not go into your crevices, which is beautiful, and it sort of fades. But then when you start talking and you feel good, it just, your whole face, the colors just come right up. So when you put it on, you'll notice, and you said it's fading, should I put more on? You shouldn't have to worry about it, because when you start laughing and talking and your emotions come out, the colors come up just like a young person. So you don't have to worry about it. But their lipstick does not run. And the lipstick can also be used as a rouge and highlight. They have a highlighter as well. Now the reason I quit using it after I tried it to see if it worked was my skin was drying out. I didn't react to it, so she must have a lot of natural ingredients in it, because I'm not reacting to it when I used it. But the problem is I didn't like my skin starting to dry out, and I said, this is not working for me. So I went back to doing what I normally do, and I just threw it out. But I can vouch for it, and the fact it does work, but it dries my skin out, so I can't use it. All right, and the Collet works excellent if you're not wearing makeup, but you want some color to your lips because your lips look pale. It will take your own pH according to your day. It does last approximately 8 to 10 hours on your mouth, on your lips, I should say. And Estee Lauder is a lipstick you can find in the store. It's very expensive compared to the other ones. You can get 99 cents or $5 for. You're going to be paying a piece of change for it, but it does not bleed into the whistle marks. At least mine has not. You're probably saying you don't have any yet. I have 2 of them developing. So I wanted to see how it would work. So the more expensive the lipstick. And don't go to a dark red either when you use Estee Lauder. Try to go to a softer red, just in case they do bleed a little bit, so it doesn't come out and you look bad. You look bad, and that's not what you want. So I've tried those things, so I can vouch for all of those. Yeah, Marcy, it goes about 10 hours. This lipstick. I think I got 2 tubes. Couldn't buy one. It was cheaper to buy 2, so I bought 2, and it worked. It really did. I had hot coffee. If you take a look at the videos, you can see I had it on my lips these last almost week. So it does work. And it surprised me, but it did. But it's not a 24-hour one. All right. I don't believe young people can talk about these kinds of things because they don't have the problems. Oh, shoot. 6:49. I got 15 minutes. Oh, God. Listen, I'm going to have to close you down for a minute unless you can wait for me. I have to do something. I forgot I had to do this out for the VA. Give me a minute. Sandra, you get so relaxed. Is it dry here? I tell you, I get too many things going, and I forget what I have to do. be back in about 4 minutes. That's chilly. How could I have forgotten? We got 3 minutes before we have to take care of the chicken again. All right. All right, we're going to need a cup of water. Oh, could you carry on? Keep that language up like that. And every time you do something like that, you know God's going to get pissed. It's chilly out there. I did not expect it to be that cold. Okay, so I hope that helps you with lipsticks, that it lasts long. Those are the 3 that I would recommend, you know. Listen, Anne, you think you're cute. You're nothing but the tail end of a donkey. And attitudes like that, like what the Middle Arabs are doing, isn't going to help. You know, everybody's going to walk away. Because if you know the Bible, Israel's going to be run into the sea because of what they're doing. So you want to be careful. You really should. Hi, Bill. Because if you know your Bible, you know where you're going, into the sea. And you'll be lucky, and it does say luck. There'll be a remnant of you left. So be very careful. Hi, Stone. I was going to do dishes. I started talking about the lipstick. So, like I said, I don't believe young people can sell things to older people because their skin is different and it acts different. But if you insist upon wearing makeup when you have a lot of wrinkles and stuff, boom is the best. The other ones, during the day they were out, but the boom seems to go all day as well. Though you can't see it when you start laughing and feeling good, the blood rushes to your face. You will, the people you're talking to will see it. So it's a good thing. I would recommend boom, and I would recommend, if you don't want to wear makeup but some lipstick, Connae between those 2. If you have whistle marks but just a few, I would recommend Estee Lauder. Yeah, they do it all the time. They think they're chosen, but God said He's going to punish them for what they have done. Okay, now they want us, we are going to add a whole cup of water to, I got to get you over here, just give me a minute. I was getting ready to do dishes, so I was putting everything on the counter. They want us to pour a whole cup of water in here now. If it cracks, I'm going to really be peeved. Okay. And they say that chicken's going to be done in 40 minutes. Now, I know my chicken's not going to be done in 40 minutes, but anyway, that's what they're saying. Another 40 minutes at 450. But but I don't believe it. I will check it. See, the crap that you're putting on, Amy, is ridiculous. It really is. It's like you're telling, all right, they say only 144,000 are going to be saved, okay? Do you think there's only 144,000 Jews? So that means a lot of you are going to die. But God also states that the 10 tribes he took their identity away, they will know their identity again. So that only leaves 12,000 to each tribe. All right? Are there only 12,000 Jews? So a lot of you are going to die. Like a lot of other tribes are going to lose. We're going to lose a lot. So think about it as you go and say you're chosen. Are you going to be the chosen one? Out of all the Jewish people you see around you, when you think the way people think, though I know it's different, I'm just going to say it the way people perceive it, only 144,000 are going to be alive. How many countries do we have? All right, so there's millions of us, if not billions. So the ratio could be 1 or 2 out of each country. So which state, let's say United States, all right, I'll be generous. I'll say we're just taking the exact words of the Bible of 144,000. Let's say that's 5 people out of each country in the world, though I'm sure it's a little more. All right, we have how many states in the United States and how many people in each state? Now you got to choose 5 out of those, out of the whole United States. That counts Hawaii and Alaska and Puerto Rico as well. So what 5 would be saved? All right, so there could only be 5 Jews. So how many Jews would be lost? Are you going to be one of the 5 that are going to be taken up on the 144,000? Or are you going to be dead? So all your devotion that you've given to him is saying no, because only 5 of you can, you know? So when you think of it about in that term, if you're chosen, then you would only be Jews that would be going to heaven and everybody else would be dead and tortured and in hell. So your logic of that statement doesn't make any sense. Now see, I know it's different. I know the first wave will be 144,000. Then the people will suffer for a time that are left on the earth, Jews included. And for those that truly repent and all, there will be another group that will be coming. They're not the first group, but they're the second group. Then he's going to sift the people again and put them through more torture. And each torture is worse than the one before. And he keeps on going through and going through and going through and going through. And for all of those that have repented, will be able to go. And when they get down and they keep on sifting and sifting, and the rest are no repent, that's when the angel is given the key to hell, and hell will be opened and they will be thrown into hell. You see? But if you go by just 144,000, realize it'll only be maybe 5 of you out of all of the tribe that will be saved, because God's not going to take from there. He takes from everybody. So you remember that. So chosen, you are only chosen to be the record keepers. Nothing more. You're supposed to keep the records, and every time you mess up the correct. And remember, you were the ones that yelled, "Crucify him, crucify him, crucify him." And while he was on the cross and he was being tortured, you were looking for unblemished lambs and stuff to send to the slaughter for your sins, not realizing the Lamb of God was hanging on a cross, dying. And when he was up there, remember, there were 3 hours of sheer darkness. And when he really felt alone, he cried out, my Father, why hast thou forsaken me?" So you think about that. That's when God turned his back on him so he could feel what we felt. So we would all have Savior. But you were the ones who were yelling, "Crucify him." You were the ones still slaughtering lambs 40 years after he was the Lamb of God to save everybody. You don't even acknowledge him except that he was a man who preached the word of God, basically, is what you're saying, and that's it. And a carpenter, and that's what you look at. So You ought to be careful what you say. You really, if you were chosen, your blessings would be overwhelmingly all the time, but it's not that way. So you are as much a sinner as I am, as everybody else. And your chances of getting to heaven are no greater and no less than everybody else on this earth. So don't sit there and think you are the chosen. You put those words in there. God said, I will make you my record keeper, and that is your job. Well, you haven't died, Amy, so I wouldn't open your mouth. I've already died 4 or 5 times and come back, so I know what's there. And I've seen Christ. All right? So you can say what you want. You think because you're a Jew, that makes you special. It only makes you the record keeper, that's all. And I know you don't like what I say, and you get angry. If you don't like what I say, please leave. You know? I mean, it's just like I have the Arabs. Muhammad is the greatest. Muhammad was a man. He said, kill the infidels. Christ says, turn the other cheek, love thy neighbor. He sits there and has rules of slaughter for thievery. Ours isn't. So you think of the balance of that. I just gave one rule. So when you weigh the two, as far as I'm concerned, Christianity is rules of Christ is much better than your Allah any day of the week. But that's my personal opinion. I'm a Christian. That's how it is. Weigh it out yourself. Good morning, Kendrick. Good morning, Dale. Sally. Jade. Oh, there will be a lot of suffering. I know. I would like to say that I make it, first off, I sit there and say, I don't want to be here when it happens. Okay, that's my first top goal. I don't want to be on this earth when it happens. But I'm afraid I'm going to be because I'm recording all of this. The thing is that I want to be one of the first scoop of people, but I look at myself and I know I've done wrong, so I could hurt and I'll condemn myself faster for the things I've done. I don't think they're great, but they're enough to. I wished I wasn't that stupid. You know, we could say that about ourselves. But that's how I perceive. I would like to be in the first group. I don't know if I'm going to be the first group. I don't know if I'm going to be on this earth, but I think I'm going to have to be where I don't want to be. But I can't say that I would be at the top of the 144,000. You know, sorry, it doesn't work. I don't know, but you know, I hope. But when you understand the spiritual world, really understand it and seen it, you have a really different perspective of life. I can talk and say that because, like I said, I have died. And I have explained it. Through you? Bullcrap. You really are an egotistical people. If that's what you think. I needed help and I asked for help and they treated me as poison and a vile thing. And I just got lost. I just needed directions to get home. So you go ahead, and I want you, Amy, to keep on thinking that. And when the shit hits the fan, you can't say anything. Okay? Because you put people down all the time. You don't want to help anybody but yourself. You take things and claim it as yours. So anyway, we could go on and on about this, but you're so narrow-minded. So we have to wait for the chicken. I don't think it's going to be done in 40 minutes, but they think it's going to be, so we'll find out. But I need to make some room. So I'm going to get some dishes done. You're right, Sally. All you have to do is choose him. You have to choose Christ. If you choose Christ and open your heart to him, because he says he is the way and the light. He didn't say the Jewish people were the way and the light. He said the Jewish people are the record keepers. And they would hate to admit that Noah's Ark was in an Arab country. I mean, I've heard some of the new things they're putting in the new Bible. That's why I got the 1611 or the 1613 Bible. I wanted to make sure that I got it. The first book that was written. And I said, you know, a lot of these books are missing. I don't even have a new one. I have all the old ones. And by the way, the Essenes is the tribe that the people that Jesus came out of, and the Jews of today deny the Essenes up one end and down the other. And the Essenes were the most spiritual of all the tribes. They were extremely spiritual. And the Sadducees and stuff did not like them. So think about that as well. And we have records of the Essene people and their life and the simplicity of their life. Yes, I have one. We purchased it. The man who owned it, his children died. His only child, I should say, his son, served in Vietnam and died. And we got the house. I think it was surveyed in 1845. I wonder if Amy isn't one of those people who sit there and have a an OnlyFans club and take her clothes off to show her body off because she was so insecure about herself. Hey, listen, since I'm busy, if Amy comes up, would you please just press her out and give us a break from her? No, I'm just saying so you can see what other people are saying because she's trying to take over. She should make her own channel, but I think she has a OnlyFans club. The only way she can get anybody to look at her is to take her clothes off. Hi, Debbie. How are you doing? Hi, Louis. Trying to catch all of you. But Amy's been covering the whole area. Hi, Piper. No, it's just that I just want to allow the rest of you to talk because, I mean, she is just like, I'm going to flood this channel, you know? She'd probably be the one screaming when she dies, too. She'd be terrified of death. Yeah, I know, I got to get the potatoes boiling, and they want them peeled, but I don't want to peel mine. I'd rather scrub mine and keep the iron and nutrients in the peelings. I know. She doesn't know her history. We're having a roast chicken done with red wine, believe it or not. And most people you would think white wine, but this one is actually a red wine. That's what we're having, Piper. We got to get some potatoes out. This goes over here, Sandra. All right. How many potatoes do you want? We're almost there. You want 185 degrees and instant reading thermometer. Yeah, it sounds good. It's different. Could you imagine if Moses and his wife, let's say they lived 800. Thank you, Louis. No, they just want potatoes with this. Isn't that interesting? They just want you to boil some potatoes in chunks. I don't tell you how much, though. They sort of leave you to your own demise on that. I think these will be more than enough. I'm just going to scrub these potatoes because I leave the peelings on because there's iron and stuff in it for your hair, to protect your hair. And the water I cook them in you can use for potatoes. But Louis, thank you for becoming a member to my kitchen. Welcome to my kitchen. one potato. Yes, it has all the nutrients for your hair. It can slow down the graying, but it makes the gray hair a little stronger. You're welcome, Louis. All of you are welcome to the channel, you know. I just wish some people would realize that this is a cooking channel. It's my channel, and if you ask questions, I'm going to answer them. But you don't have to push your faith or tell me I have to change my religion. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's another one that comes on too that does it too. I think they left. Why? Good morning. No, we're doing a chicken. We all learn, Piper, we all learn something new. I'm going to leave these in chunks. I think they'd be better because that chicken's a really big one. So I'm going to have chunks like this. I think this is big enough. Good morning, Domain. Thank you. I'm in better spirits today. Man, yesterday I took a 3-4 hour nap. I was exhausted. Usually I'm not that tired, but I was really tired yesterday. Just mentally and physically, just from all of the remarks and the trolls. They just get to be a bit much sometimes. And people can get beaten down. I mean, I wish that the ark, and I know the ark is up in that mountain. I wish that they would allow, you know, us to see the inside of it. And they make excuses. It's like they're hiding it from the people. I listen to a lot of programs to learn things. The ancient language that the Atlanteans spoke cannot be spoken. I mean, the reading said that he will not give that language away. I'm beginning to think the Atlanteans are speaking the language of God. Thank you, Louis. Hi, Piper. Hi, Francine. Good morning. And Domain, good morning. I'm wondering, because it can't be spoken, and it did come through in a reading, They said, but can we learn the language? No, and I'm beginning to think that they spoke the language of God and spoke with God, and that's why that language cannot be had or said. I know, but sometimes it gets to you, Sharky. Piper, Sharky, good morning. We're having a roast chicken. I'm going to boil potatoes with peelings, only because peelings are good for you. And the water you can make bread with, rolls with, biscuits with, potato water. That's why I don't add any salt, so I can sit there and do that with it. Now, when you fill the water up, only fill it. I've already chopped these up. Only add an inch above this. You don't have to fill it into a big pot. You just go 1 inch above it, and you got it. So instead of using milk or water, you can use the potato water to make rolls and breads and stuff. Another thing you can use it for is for your soups, stews and stuff. Just keep on adding it, you know. That's how I use it. If you don't add salt to it, but if you add salt to it, you have a difficult time because you have to readjust the salt in your recipe. So I add the salt after everything is cooked. Right now we're doing, it's just a roast, a roast chicken, a 6-pounder. Well, it's a little more than 6 pounds. And on top of it, we use red wine instead of white, which is unusual. It isn't something that you normally do when you know the rules of wine and stuff. But they do it this way with croutons. And I made my own croutons. Excuse me. Those muffins are really good. I really want to put a liquor in them. Yeah, I'm going there. Yes, Polly. Good morning, Polly. Ken, Shark. You all came up so quickly. All right. 7:30, we'll check that chicken. Okay, we're gonna have collards with this dish. I think the green will go well with the chicken. I'll give it 6 more minutes. I don't have room for it. Well, from what the readings say, they did have a language, and they asked the reading to sit there and tell them. And it was point blank, no. You could ask a lot of questions from the readings, but that was one answer. The angels said no. Okay, so that language cannot. So telepathically, they might have. I know animals do it. Hunters know animals do it. Because if you're up in a tree and they don't get the whiff of smell of you, they know when death is coming. Because they look before you kill them. So they know. They know it's coming. So they Never mind. They can read minds. Okay. Okay. I'm going to check this chicken. And yes, the wings, you tie the wings down. One of my wings came undone. They want 185 for temperature. Okay. We'll do it into the thigh. I'm reading it right now. Okay. I have the thermostat there. No, it's not there yet. So we've got more cooking time to go. I'm only at 145. I told you I had a big bird. I asked for a 5-pound and he gave me a 6.5-pound bird. Okay. Yeah. Animals know. They really do. They're quite intelligent, though people don't give them credit for it. I mean, you hear me, I'm arguing with my cat. You ought to see when he's mad at me, he looks at me with sheer anger. And I give it back. I said, don't you even go there with me. I know what you want. You're not going to get it because you didn't eat your breakfast. Yeah, it is. Idiot's back on. So anyway, we know the Atlanteans were giants. So I'm wondering if some of these giants that we're seeing were man as well. Because remember, the daughters of man look very appealing to the angels who fell and broke the rules. So I'm beginning to think the Atlanteans probably spoke the word of, spoke the language of God, and that is the problem. So they knew it. The incantations and everything else could be used. You think about it. Because he used the word and created earth, so we knew the language. Imagine what we could do. So it would be best that we don't know it and not to have it spoken, which is good. So I could understand why we're not allowed to do it. Yeah, the sun's coming up now. Thank you. Tasia, where are you? I'm in the state of New York. And the time is, what time is it? Hold on. 7:30. So you might be behind a couple hours. So I can understand why we can't know the language of the Atlanteans. It would make common sense, because that's the language of God. They could do a whole lot of things, you know, by having that knowledge. Those gizzards are cooking very nicely. are getting done. We have to wait for the chicken. We're still waiting for the chicken. We're always waiting for the chicken. Did you notice we're always waiting for the chicken? Get the collard greens going. Now, collard greens are huge. So a few of them can go a long, long way. Yeah, you are an hour behind me. Yeah, Polly, you wonder why. Now she says we're disrespecting because we ain't acknowledging what she's saying. But she doesn't know her history. Know your history. Look, I'm Italian. All right, I'm Italian. I know that my people were the ones that tortured Christ. They were Romans. Romans are Italian. Okay? So I know that. But it doesn't stop me from loving him or him loving me. Some of the very people who tortured him, after they saw what they saw, they changed and they asked for forgiveness, you know? So by her standard, I'm already condemned. But yet I am the one who died, and I'm the one who was before Christ, and I was kneeling at his feet, crying and talking about my body, that it was dying. I mean, she didn't. She's never experienced anything like that. Has she ever felt the love of God? Does she really know how great it is? She could read it, but has she ever felt it? Has she ever stood in that love that was so great that you become extremely humbled? Thank you. All right, I hope you had a wonderful evening. Oh my God. So they can talk a lot of bullshit, like they say. But Amy and Shabbat, I'm not going to listen to you. We're just going to ignore you. All right. Like I said, collard greens are big. They're huge. We'll get these going. We'll get things going. We'll get this whole meal. The only thing is trying to cut these things. I like to split them. No, the guy before us put it in. Yes, it is. It is a microwave. These are huge. They're about a foot wide. roll them up so it's easier to cut them. You know, I had an older man tell me, he had to make me, he said, you have to be tough. You have to be able to curse and swing and say things like that. And I said, why does it bother you that I'm so gentle? He couldn't give me an answer. I think personally, we should let Joseph and his brother that he has contempt for work it out on their own. Put them in a boxing match and let them box each other's ears off, you know. So I'm not going to get in any argument. I can give history, but I'm not going to give anything. They still carrying on? Yeah. Hi, Bill. Got the collard greens. I'm just draining them right now. Saucepan. And doesn't care who she is. She has an insecurity problem. I just ignore her. And Shabbat as well. PGE. Now I've got a pot full of collard greens. I'm only going to put 1/4 of an inch of water on the bottom. Bring it to a boil, then the lid will be on it, and I'll steam these until tender. That's very little water, but that way we can keep the nutrients in your vegetables instead of cooking them out. Hi, Piper. I like your words, Piper. A roast chicken that's done in red wine, collard greens, and just boiled potatoes. Yadara? KB. Good morning, Range. How are you? No, this is collard greens. I try to use different kinds of vegetables So my family has more of a versatile taste. Instead of making the same thing the same way, I make a lot of different dishes. Like if I say we're going to have cube steaks, you can bet I'm going to do everything with them and not do it the same way twice. That's just me. Sometimes I do repeat myself, but it's so rare, you know. So I'll bring this to a boil and turn it down to a very low simmer and let those vegetables simmer, and I'll have a beautiful green color and I don't have to worry. Shoot, I'm going to knock you over. I don't want to. I'm going to stick you under here. It's safer. Away from me. Let's see if these gizzards are done well. I'll be able to, yeah, they're done. So these are done. I'll let them cool, rip that off, and see about making some pies with it. Because you eat giblet gravy at Thanksgiving, you know. You use the giblets. I mean, I dice mine up and stick it in my giblet gravy with the boiled eggs, chives and stuff. So it's a good way of getting extra protein, because people don't really eat the gizzards. And then you take the bones and you cook those bones down, so you've actually used the whole chicken and you don't waste anything, and you make a dessert out of one part that they wouldn't even think of at that time. Oh, collard greens are a southern green that mostly in the South, I'm going to say it, please don't get upset, but blacks eat. It's one of their favorite collard greens. It's a nice collard green. West Indians like more of mustard greens. So it depends upon where you're from, but you should try them. That's my meal. That's Nutri-Meal. I recommend that. I'm definitely going to put that on things that I would recommend you getting. I had to save up for that. Like I said, I save pennies for things that I want. My husband used to just pick things up whenever he saw them. Me, I have to save for every little thing that I want done, and that's what I'm doing. So that's my mill. This is my espresso machine over here. You can't see it yet. It's back here. That's my espresso machine. It's a beautiful little one. My son finally, I told him I was having trouble with the frost. And he said, Mommy, how do you do it? I said, well, they said, don't stick it in too deep, but don't put it out on the top. He said, no, Mommy, they do it like this. And he showed me. So now I can make coffee with it and show you. And we can try all those lovely coffees that I have. I have a whole cookbook on coffees. So we'll be having different coffees. And I didn't know how the frother worked. That was the only thing I was having problems with. He said, did you get the water out of it? I said, yes, I did all of that. It's just that I'm trying to get to the right point where they want me to put it into the milk to froth it. He said, no, Mommy, they don't do it like that. They do it this way. And I said, oh, thank you. It is KB. I have to work it. I'm sorry you lost your dog, Sky. I have an octopus, a couple of octopus salads. I have some, I think, octopus stews. But I haven't gotten to them yet. Hi, Phil. Piper. Okay, it's a different green. I didn't know about fennel greens. My boyfriend taught me that. He brought some. I said, what is this? He said, fennels. And I tried them. I said, God, these are very tender. They don't take well to canning and freezing. But I can imagine fresh, if you're really good with it, it should come out really, really nice. Hi, Polly. Said hi. Temple. Good morning. All right, the potatoes are boiling. I'm waiting for this to boil, and then I can turn it down. Oh, yes, I did. Hurt myself again. Oh, God. That hurt. Yeah, I know you're not done. The leaves are tough. Now it takes a little longer when you steam them like this. But the whole thing is with my cooking, I try to get as much nutrition into each meal or whatever you eat so you can stay as healthy as possible. And that is the whole thing about this. Fennel, that's good too. I'm guilty of what? Making mistakes? God, yes. Let's see, how long has this been going? Oh, that chicken's got some more time in there. It was too low. Hi, Sheet. Randy, good morning, and how are you? Phil Goodyear, 1513. I'm guilty of what? Telling the truth? Fibbing at times? Yes. My sons caught me in a lie one time. Grandpa had come home from the hospital, their grandfather, and I had been cooking for him and, caring for him with my husband and the children. And he finally came downstairs and he says, Sandy, how do I look? And I knew I was, oh, okay. Well, anyway, and I turned to him and said, what do you mean? He said, Sandy, I don't look good. I said, listen, Daddy, because I called him Daddy. He was my father-in-law. I said, you just came over a major heart problem, okay? You're weak, but you look good, okay? Now, come on. He said, I feel like death warmed over. I said, no, you're just tired and weak from surgery. You'll be back on your feet in 6 weeks and you'll be like, this is nothing. But everybody looks like that after they've been through surgery and everything. And he said, thank you, Sandy. And my sons, and when we got home that night with my husband, my husband said, you're going to have to answer for that one. Because I was teaching to always tell the truth, no matter what. They said, Mommy, you lied to Grandpa. And I said, sometimes a little white lie like that can make him feel better. But if I told him he looked like death warmed over, do you think he'd still be alive today? They said no. I said, that's why I lied. I'll lie to help him feel better so he won't give up on life, so you have your grandfather longer. So they understood there's a time when you tell a little white lie, and when it's beneficial, not to save your hide or anybody else's, but to help somebody feel better to move forward. And I said, other than that, you just tell the truth, if they like it or not, but when somebody's down, you don't want to kick them any further down than where they are. Be respectful. You're awake. Welcome, Dell. Well, he finally died years later. Simplify from Chicago. Yes, George, Simplify. Always faithful. He died years later, but he got to see his grandchildren a lot longer. But sometimes, when I told my husband I was on my deathbed, I looked at the mirror. I said, Tony, my hair is falling out. My skin is yellow. My eyes are yellow. and I can't stand up straight. I'm crooked. I don't feel good. I don't have any energy. I can't hold my baby. I can't do anything. And he said, look, you have another surgery in front of you, and you'll be fine, Sandy. We just got to build you up to get through that second surgery, and you'll be fine. I told him, I look like garbage. He said, no, you're a sight for sore eyes. You went through a lot. And he said, remember, you're coming back from the dead. I said, Tony, I can't even hold up a pound of anything. He said, we'll work on that once you're all healed up and you get past that second surgery that's sitting in front of you, and I'll get you back on your feet. And he did. The only thing is I cannot do a sit-up to save my life. That's one thing I cannot do because I've lost so much abdominal muscle tone that you need to do a sit-up with. But he said he got me up to 40 pounds. I could carry 40 pounds, and that was the most maximum that my body could take. And last year, I tried to pick up 40 pounds. I almost died. And I said, dang, this used to be easy. So I picked up something a little less. It was easier. So I can pick up to 39 pounds now. So I hit 73. It looks like 39 is my limit now. Okay, we got potatoes going too. We got to keep track of them. This will hold the potato. Yeah, that should hold the potatoes. Let's see what the water is doing in there. Okay, very good in there. 5 more minutes, I'm going to check that chicken and we'll see where we're standing. Well, I did what I could, Piper. My husband, because he was in the medical profession, he was taking care of the heavier stuff. I was taking care of the feeding and getting him back on his feet and encouraging him. I mean, Tony was strong enough to pick his father up. I couldn't, when he had to get out of bed. He showed me how to have him sit up, to grab his feet and swing around gently and grab his arm and pull, and pack pills to help him sit up. But when it came to taking him out of the bed and putting him in a chair or helping him go to the bathroom, walk to the bathroom, Tony had to do that because he was strong enough to hold him and walk with him. Oh, this is the water from the potatoes. I'm not going to be able to use it. I'm sorry, this is not going to work. I'm not that strong on my wrist. God, darn, this thing is hot. Okay. Potato water. Now, if you don't want to make bread, if it says use milk, you can use the potato water in place of it. If it says any liquid, you can use this in place of it. I use I can make French bread with this. I sit there and make whole wheat bread with this. I make rye breads with this. Whatever breads I want to make, I'll use the potato water in place of the water that they have there. And because it's a starch, it's sugar to the yeast, so it's going to help the yeast a lot. Now, if you're making sourdough, you cannot use this potato water until after you do 2 proofings. Once you do the 2 proofings, whatever liquid is left, you can use the potato water then. And when I say proofing, those are the 2 12-hour rises that you have to do with sourdough. If you want an extra sourdough flavor, you do it 3 12-hour rises and add the flour and water accordingly to feed it for each of those 12 hours. We just have the collard greens and the chicken. Moving right along. Potatoes. Yeah, I know. I probably did too many. Okay. Oh, I think they left. Yeah. My brother James was an orderly in the, when he worked at the nursing home, my older brother. He was strong. So that's what he did. That was one of his first jobs, was to be an orderly in a nursing home. And there was a woman who, let's see, we're talking in the 60s. She was 100 and something. She was one of the founding mothers of Beeville. Good morning, Muso. Hiva. Okay, Muso. I'm heavy-handed with pepper. You don't know that by now, you never will. I don't know why, I just like a lot of pepper on my potatoes when they've been boiled. Now I will add salt to my potatoes now that I've cooked them. Yes, I did. I'm going to put some butter on it. And I'm going to have to use that because this is hard. Everybody does things differently, but we learn from each other. I mean, I don't know what got me into, I don't know. I just decided, why couldn't I put liquor in muffins, you know, with fruit, you know? And try it. It's turning out good. I'm really shocked about it. I wonder if I could make rum raisin muffins. I have rum, and I have raisins. Doesn't that sound good, rum raisin muffins? I'll have to try that, Piper. Olive oil. Well, see, I'm cutting it thin, and I'm just going to let it melt and just sort of, you know, go through potatoes like that. And just let it just work its way down. Okay, the potatoes are done. Heavy-handed with the pepper. I have to now that, see, I'm sitting here doing something else. So what do I think about? Rum raisin. You make rum raisin, oh God, rum raisin. What am I thinking of, rum raisin? Why couldn't, it would have to work. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, Piper. Hi, Carol. Yes, Piper, we do learn from each other, Randy. Oh, that, I haven't had that in years. I remember the little red potatoes with green beans, and my mother used to just put salt and butter on them. I knew a woman who used garlic. How do you season it? God, I haven't had that. Now you're bringing back memories. I haven't had that in a long time, Randy. Yeah, but why can't we make muffins out of it? Think about it. Butter's here, Sandra. I guess we're just going to have to try. But see, I'm working on something else. And this is how I come up with these crazy ideas. They just go ding, 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 ding. Ooh, stop. That sounds delicious, right? That's it. And you're saying, but you're cooking with liquor. Of course I'm cooking with liquor, but it doesn't mean I drink it. I'm going to try to find some liqueurs so I can show you how you're supposed to have liqueurs. Well, I'm not using theirs. I'm using mine because I'm going to sit there and make a nutritious rum raisin muffin. A lot of people who make, oh, forgot a potato, that's all right, it can go there. A lot of people sit there and they don't make them nutritious, so what you're getting is a lot of sugar and unbalanced nutrition. My whole thing is, if I'm going to make something, I want it nutritious. I want to make sure I can get as much into it to make it as healthy as possible. And then I'm going to sit there and make sure I count for the protein and all in it and have that flavor. And I use whole grains. But I can tell you, if it's a rum raisin recipe, I don't think they use whole wheat flour. I don't think they use wheat germ. I don't think they use nutritional yeast. I could tell you a lot of things they don't add in, and they probably add milk or something, whereas I have buttermilk, yogurt, sour cream. I'll use cheese. Listen, I go there. I really do. And the people who've been with me the longest know that I go there. But I don't sit there and, you know, do that. I just let my mind go. No, these are a little tough. Okay, so we have to wait for that. No, I'm not going to Google it. And you don't have to. When I use it, I cook with it, so I actually cook the alcohol out. Now what I'm going to do is get that flavor. Okay? Now some people who would make probably rum raisin will sit there and soak the raisins in rum and then put it into flour mixture. If I'm going to make rum raisin, I'm going to put rum in the batter as well as those raisins. So I'll have that rum flavor throughout it, but the alcohol will be cooked out so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, that's good too. I've had that too. Piper, KF. Somewhere between 4 and 5 a.m. It's okay, Piper. I knew what you're talking about. It sounds delicious, Paul. All right, we have to wait for the collard greens. Nothing I can do about that. And I'm going to let the gizzards cool and see what I can do with those. I don't want to waste them. I mean, my younger son yesterday made ragu bolognese sauce. Oh, he loves that. We enjoy that tremendously. He said, Mommy, I want to make it. I want to make it. I said, okay, you can make it. But I said, I want you to read that recipe and understand what you're doing before you get in there. Oh, she used dark rum. I have light rum. White rum, as my husband used to call. Yeah, Piper, it does. Did you ever get the recipe, Paul, from your neighbor or your mother? Did she get it? I know I'm going to be making a German chocolate cake. Yeah, I don't know if she'd have, no, she said rum walnut. She might have. Oh, if you get it, believe you me, I would love you to share it. Pound cake, it really sounds delicious. I'd like to try that one. I have a German cookbook, but I don't think they have it in there. I gotta check this chicken. Yeah, well, we're getting dark enough. I think you are done now, but we'll check. Yeah, that's next to the bone. Okay, this chicken is done. I have to get it out. Hold on a minute. Here it is. That wine looks like it's done. Well, everything's so dark on it, but that's it. We got the chicken done. I've got to leave it in here a bit. I'm not going to eat the croutons on the side, but it has a dripping to it. I'll probably strain that just dripping. Thank you, Paul. I am, Forrest. I will, and Piper, you have a great day, okay? So we'll get this out of here, but I'm definitely going to strain and get the broth, or what they call the drippings, and pour over this. But I knew those shallots were going to burn because they're so dark. Okay. Okay. We're going to have to move this, Sandy. Yeah, we are, aren't we? Well, I got this done in better timing than I thought. When you do roast, you really need a big spatula. It makes your life so much easier. Okay, so we'll check this side too. I Thought you would burn or stick or something. See, a big spatula makes it much easier to work with, always. Oh, okay, we can take this off. Come on, come off. I want to pour the drippings off, then use them. Thinking, if I split it over the side, I should be able to do this. Now there are two starches with this meal, the potatoes and the stuffing. I usually don't serve two starches per meal, but this one is definitely screaming of it. So that's a rule that I don't break often. As long as it's not over there. Okay, now what they want you to do with this, now that I've taken care of the potato. And Amy, you think all that money's going to get you to heaven? All right, now they want you to dump the potatoes around. I couldn't leave them in the thing. That peppercorn's a bit warm, Sandra. Yeah, I know, but I just had to. Because that's me, I'm going to do it anyway. So see, you take the food that you make and you can dress it up. Don't worry, I'm waiting for Amy to say, that's our idea. We taught you that. You know, you expect something like that, such an egotistical person. And that's how they want this dish served. Now this bowl I can put the collard greens in when they're done. So see, using the potatoes and just dress it around your chicken. And I'll put the collard greens in here. Butter and pepper's a bit on the hot side. So there it is. That's how they dress it. Let's check these collard greens and see if we can get this done, and then dinner is done. Thank you, Godspeed, Eric. Okay, I think the collard greens are done. Oh yeah. Okay, we'll move you back over here. Sorry for moving you around so much. I do apologize. Now you can cook collards with bacon if you wish. It's very good. Thing is that you can't use the fluid that it was in. Okay, and we'll salt these, and that's dinner. How much liquid do I have? Maybe a tablespoon or two, and that's all I've got. So as you can see, the nutrients are definitely in the greens. I was one time asked at a store where I was buying yarn. An Orthodox Jew owned the store, and he had 3 daughters. And they asked me to teach their daughters how to tat. And I said, I have to think about that. They said, we'll pay you $50 a week. Come in one day a week and show them. And I said, well, I'll think about it. And as I was going through the store, one of the workers came up to me and she said, don't teach the daughters. What he wants you to do is teach them. And then he's going to fire you. And then he's going to say they are the ones who know how to tat and build, like they're the big people who learned how to tat. And so I didn't teach them. Thank you. I don't know who she's. I do not drive. I'm not in Texas. If I was in Texas, I would drive because I only know one speed, stop and fast. I don't drive. I know I'm a bad driver, so I'm not going to risk anybody's life. Well, as you guys keep on talking, I am going to be leaving very shortly. I have things I have to do. I have a life instead of insulting people. And you keep on insulting because that's all you've got. And Amy, when Israel is driven into the sea, I want you to remember all the words that you keep on putting everybody else down. All right, so you think about that and be careful. Good morning, Irma. I'm getting ready to close off now. I want all of you to have a nice day. You know what's for dinner. I'm going to make a short video just to show them what it is so they can see what I did. And that is pretty much. Oh, Kit, that sounds good. Bye, Irma. Forrest, you take care too. Thank you for doing that, Forrest. Health, Turk, okay? So, God bless, as they say, and take care, and I guess I'll see you tomorrow, but I'm still thinking about the rum raisin muffins. You can bring your opinions on the next video and let me know what you think of making rum raisin. And Paul, I look forward, if you find that recipe, I'll tell you where you can put it and I will snatch it up. Okay? Have a good day, all of you. Bye-bye.